Annmarie, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So you do work with people that have autoimmune disorders, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and
Correct.
then how did you get into this?
Well, for years, I'm just gonna start with I'm a Gen Xer, so for years we like kind of push it off. Um, in 2019, I went for foot surgery thinking, I was just having a bunion and a piece of fascia taken off my foot for a bone spur, and I was diagnosed with a nodule. So I had a rheumatoid arthritis and kind of went from there. Diagnosis was not normal. Usually most people go in with pain and again, I pretty much sucked everything up until that point. And
Mhm.
today I realized that, well, back then I realized there's not enough people just talking about the everyday shit that goes along with it. We get these diseases, and I'm just gonna say all of them, and I'm gonna say chronic disease in general. We get these
Mhm.
diagnoses, and we change. The people around us don't change, so there's really not a whole lot of mindset or mind work. And you're going to go to a therapist. They know how to talk to you about it, but they don't actually living it.
Right.
So that was kind of how I started. I was looking for support for myself. I was
Mhm.
already getting certified as a life coach, and it helped me in the direction of like, oh, so this is what I'm doing. This is, God kind of just, and I believe that, or God or the universe, I don't know how anybody really feels about it. It was dropped in my lap and I went running with it. And
Mhm.
so I work with women mainly. Occasionally, I get a guy that'll want to talk about it. But it's really women that are just moms working hard, single moms, grandmothers, entrepreneurs that just don't know how to manage both sides of it. Because if we don't manage the outside part of our life, the home, the work, the kids, I mean, the laundry still builds up. If we don't figure out how to take care of that stress,
Mhm.
we're in a flare all the time.
Well, we'll use Crohn's as an example.
Absolutely.
The moment that they have any type of cortisol, it's just gonna be a flare up and they're gonna be in terrible shape. So let me ask you this. You were talking about it's mostly women, so rheumatoid and that kind of thing, like, how does it affect the sexes? Is it more of
So
a
I actually brought up statistics as I figured you were going to ask me. I could never remember this stuff. So roughly 1 in 10 people get it
Mhm.
of anything. And the split is 63% of 73% of the patients that are diagnosed are female.
Wow, so it's more of
63
a
to 78%. And women are nearly twice as likely to be diagnosed as men. So it's kind of it's I don't know. I don't understand that part of it. I just know that we have it a lot. And there's like over 100 different types of autoimmune diseases. There's very
Mhm.
rare ones.
Yeah.
And then we only hear about like five, that people talk about. I mean, people really, and I think most amazing, and I don't even know if you know this, but most people don't even realize that type 1 diabetes
Yeah.
is an autoimmune disease. And people just
Right.
look at it again, like we're just, they just have diabetes type 1, they take a shot and they move on.
Right.
Not the case.
No, and I'm gonna get a little conspiracy theory here. It's the ones that are the most marketable and the ones that they can push pills for. Or then it's not even like a cure, it's a Band-Aid at best. And then again, if it does relieve the symptoms, great, that way people can have at least somewhat of an ordinary life.
Mhm.
But for those that don't know, can you explain what rheumatoid arthritis is?
So rheumatoid arthritis, it attacks like your joints where your synovial fluid, and eventually that's all gone and it starts eating away at your bones. And it's not just that. Like I already have nodules in my lungs, so
Mhm.
it can affect your lungs, your liver, your entire body, your skin. I mean, today, if anybody's seeing me, my skin looks good. If you'd see me 3 days ago, I looked like I was, crater face and a flare going on. So
Mhm.
it just happens. It attacks all parts of your body, and it's scary because for
Yeah.
years I thought like, oh, and I'm gonna go there. I thought I was going through menopause, right? Oh, I didn't have acne as a kid. Well, hey, let's have it now. And it's
Mhm.
not. It was all related, and you don't realize it. And I'm gonna get a little conspiracy theory
Yeah,
on you.
go for it.
I do think that it does have a lot to do with our gut.
Mhm.
I went down a rabbit hole not too long ago about I was had my gallbladder out when I was 23.
Mhm.
And that even had a little bit to do with it because now you got extra bile and now your body's acting working even harder. Like, I looked and I was like, "God, I was doomed to get this crap." Like, I was just doomed, and then found out that just because I had that out doesn't mean you can't have it with the other stuff that's happening in life. So there's they say it's the doctors there's no cure, and then you go to somebody that's a functional doctor and they say there's, we can manage it or reverse it. And reverse to me always sounded like a cure, but I started talking to other people and they're like, "No, we just kind of we work on the root cause." And for me, I believe it is purely my stomach and my genetics of being Irish because, they ate so bland and came to America and decided to eat the flavors.
That does bring up a valid point. I mean, is there a geographical marker,
I don't know.
for certain, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of
I would
out of my
love
depth with.
me
Yeah.
too, because I could go down rabbit holes and sometimes
Mhm.
I have to pull myself back because I get so engrossed in like, oh wow. However, like, if you go back generations and this, the potato famine and the
Mhm.
hematocrosis, which is an iron overload. If I go back and look at myself in my 30s, I had iron overload, but I didn't have hematocrosis. And now here I am in my late 50s and now I have low iron. So there's this vicious cycle that our bodies have their own. I feel like they have, well, I always feel like our body talks to us, but if we don't listen to it, it's gonna wreak havoc on us. And I think that's part of even the generation today. I mean, I look at how my grandchildren eat, it's eat and run. They're not having
Mhm.
with the new pyramid. I guess we got a new pyramid and
Yeah.
there's we're not eating well. So I feel that we are setting up our children to get these diseases more and more and more. And
Of course.
it starts in the gut. It starts with
Yeah.
processed food. I looked at my grandmother. She grew up on a farm. She had it in Ireland. So there was no processed food there.
When certain things that we have here are considered illegal in other countries,
Mhm,
that should be a big red flag. Like bread here, I saw somebody take it was like Walmart white bread. They
mhm.
put it in their sink, saturated the shit out of this thing, and they were able to wring it out like it was a fucking sponge.
Right.
So my girlfriend, God bless her, she bakes bread now. So it's like I don't, and not that I eat a lot of it, but because I'm not a big carb guy,
Well,
so I don't really,
I
yeah,
don't even eat it anymore because honestly, it wreaks havoc. I mean, and I think that's the so I went to a women's retreat. It was a wellness retreat, and I try to stay within those circles because I'm truly trying to be better for myself and be better for my clients, and be informed. Really,
of course.
I ate gluten free for a weekend, and I really thought like, oh my god, this is so hard. How could I ever eat gluten free? And this
Hmm.
girl, they had a chef there who cooked for 3 days, 4 days,
Hmm.
gluten free. I came home feeling after 4 days felt tremendously better. And I said, my husband's retired, and I said, "Can we like start eating like this?"
Right.
Good. I feel pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah. I
Where the
mean, and well, and then you get that dose of feeling good for once, and then you're like, hey, this is great. But if you're used to feeling like absolute hammered crap, at the moment that you feel a smidge of relief, it's like my
Mhm.
back, right? I have degenerative disc disease in my back in the mid thoracic range, and like when I stretch and do all the things, it's like you feel great. I'll give you a good example. I was doing a travel assignment. I was at Beth Israel Lahey in Burlington, Massachusetts.
I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, I've never been like a self care kind of guy. It's Gen Xer like you, so we don't believe in taking care of ourselves. So, anyways,
I
um,
know.
booked a massage, and it was this it was at like a massage envy, and I was fortunate enough to have an Asian massage therapist, and she cranked on me. She focused only on my mid back, and when I got up, that was the first time in months I was able to take a full deep breath without pain. So I see where you're coming from when you left that retreat and you actually had good nutritious food that didn't jack you up. But
Mhm.
the only way that we're going to get like real good clean food is if we grow it ourselves. And
Exactly.
and then the other part is like I live in Florida and there was a woman who was completely 100% off the grid. Now, granted, she may have been a little too close to municipalities in Orlando. She was collecting her own water. She had solar and all that crap. But it wasn't like the fake solar they have now where it just rips you off. It's the real stuff, where she actually had a battery bank and all that. And then they came, but the only thing that I disagree with that she did was sewer, which is kind of gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the local government came in and said, you're shutting you down. It's because they want us dependent on that kind of stuff because,
Absolutely.
and then like all the glyphosates and all the crap in our food. And even organic is almost a gimmick at times. From what I've gathered, it's the same thing that,
So the joke that
yeah.
we joke about is we can buy, we'll go buy that apple
Mhm.
and you pour the hot water on it. You take all the shit and wax crap off
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah.
And then you go, here you go. It's now organic
Right. Exactly.
because now you've taken all the crap off. But what has now seeped into our food from that?
Well, and it's not even the food, it's the soil. I have a guy coming on. That was the entire conversation, was us talking about the soil and how screwed up the soil is, and there's
Hmm.
no more regenerative farming anymore. So what they
No.
do is they beat the shit out of this patch of soil, ripping out all the good stuff, and then expect stuff to grow good in it and but everybody is so deficient on like I just had a lab draw. I went through waste to well to get a deep dive. I'm okay in some areas I'm not, but I mean, like my vitamin D12 or whatever it is, or vitamin D is fucking shot. And,
Yes. Everybody's
so
it's.
everybody's is. So I can see why everybody's getting sick. Like I did like a hybrid carnivore thing for a
Hmm.
little bit. So when I'm off, I'd eat 12 eggs, 10 pieces of turkey bacon. I felt fine for a while, but it's a very restrictive diet. So what am I going to have? 6 more eggs? No. So you want other stuff.
I can go crazy and I actually can get angry about this.
Hmm.
I gotta actually kind of keep myself in control. There's these quick fixes. I'm gonna go right there because here you go. You did the carnivore, right? A little
Hmm.
bit of it. It's so fucking restrictive. All these diets are so restrictive and they're so not doable. So you have
Hmm.
these people, and I'm gonna just say, like even you, my husband, we're all older, and shit, we're like falling apart. So we're like, "Hey, let's do the Atkins diet. Let's do this diet. Let's do that diet." And
Hmm.
so I got, a friend of mine's like, "Oh, now you have autoimmune. You should be doing the autoimmune diet." I mean, like
Yeah.
everything is so restrictive. Hence why I thought like, doing gluten free was going to be like really restricted, and it wasn't.
No.
However, we're so used to these quick fixes, and we go so deep, so fucking quick. It's
Hmm.
so not doable. So we'll follow it for 6 weeks, and then we're burnt out on trying to go food shopping and reading labels, and that you do it, and then you just dive so quickly where you left off, where you were before you started these silly diets,
Hmm.
and then you're making yourself worse, and it's a vicious cycle. It
It
drives
is.
me nuts. I mean, that's one of the things I do with my clients. I'm like, listen, you need to make this doable. You want to learn how to do this diet. You need to be the scientist. You need to be the researcher, and what actually works for you. Because if it doesn't work for you, you're never going to continue it. It's just, it's
When I was looking for a way to lose weight, somebody actually recommended the blood type diet.
yes.
Like, what the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's
No.
like, what does that do? So listen, there's some wonky shit out there, so that's why you have to do your own research. So I mean, luckily enough, I think I have more nutritional training than a doctor does because I went through culinary school. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Well, I'm sure you
Because
do. Absolutely.
the guy I had on, we were talking about, um, how they only have 20 hours of training in medical school,
Hmm.
but they're working on changing that now.
Yes.
I'm gonna butcher it, but what is that shit that they're using to treat cancer? It's not ivermectin. It's fenbendazole or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
What they're finding out is that sugar and cancer cells are best friends.
Yes, they are.
So if you deny cancer sugar, it kind of withers away and dies. Allegedly speaking, folks. I'm not a doctor, but they're actually doing peer studies on this stuff, and it's supposed to be doing well. I mean, me and my conspiracy brain, what I'm waiting for is they go, oh, FDA approved. The next thing you know, it's going to cost $11 billion that no one can
Right.
afford.
Exactly. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's, they have these GLP-1s, and it's, the I mean, it's
It's a
what you might call
joke.
that, whatever it is, it's easy to make. Everybody can do it. Now that, you've got these pharmacies, these compound pharmacies that can make it for like a fraction of the cost, and people
Hmm.
can actually get it. That now this company is fighting that company. They're putting a patent on this, and I'm like, but this has been around forever.
Right. But
You know,
the other thing about that is recently figured out that people that were using Ozempic are becoming osteoporotic.
yes.
Like that means their bones look like a block of Swiss cheese, and then it's
Right.
going to snap. So but they also say that you have to lift weights with those.
Yes. Yes.
So
So
The
I am a user, and I'm gonna tell you what I do with it.
Mhm.
I upped my vitamin. I already have to have vitamin D, like, because
Right.
I was actually deficient to the point where I almost had rickets. I'm
Oh
using an
god.
old term. Yeah, like, that's how low
Yeah.
I was. So I was
Jesus.
already on it. So I went from taking 5,000 a day to 7,000 a day. Then I am now on 10,000 a day. I do that. I supplement with my B12s. Like, if you don't do what you need to do to balance it out,
Yeah.
you're fucking yourself up. I don't
Yeah.
have those problems because I did the research before I went on it. I started asking questions, people that are already on it. What is it doing to you? What do you feel?
Mhm.
And if you talk to other people, they're not telling you that. All of a sudden now it's coming out. I take it because it helps with my inflammation.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it works tremendously with
Which
my inflammation with my RA. And honestly, that's why I stay on it.
which one are you using?
I'm on tirzepatide.
Okay, I've never heard of that one.
It's the Manjaro. It's the Manjaro. It's the
Oh,
name for it.
Manjaro. Okay, yeah. As long as it helps, you know how to negate the side effects. Some people don't
Absolutely.
know. All they want to do is and listen.
Quick fix. Again, we're
Yeah,
gonna talk
well, and
about
it's yeah, yeah,
it's not a
it's
quick
100% a
fix.
quick fix,
Right.
but with you, it helps because it reduces inflammation for your RA. That's a little bit different. But when you have the person that's on the fucking mobility scooter because they weigh 9,000 pounds and they don't want to put in the effort, one of my past guests, his name was Luke Beastall. He said movement is medicine, and you
Movement's
have to move.
always medicine. I'm
Yeah,
so here you are. I know people that, and I'm talking years ago that, they had rheumatoid arthritis that, oh, it hurts too much to move. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you need to move. I now have it. I have make sure that I have a personal trainer. That's part of my
yeah,
health care. Do you think my insurance covers that?
shit, no,
No. Fuck
yeah,
no. So that comes out of my pocket. That's my health care. I work out twice a week with a trainer to make sure I'm doing it correctly, number one. I also then go to the gym or a class. I take a class. I
hmm
walk. I have a
yeah.
treadmill in my house. If I can't get outside, I'm in Northeast Pennsylvania. You think I can get outside every day?
So you got like 10 days of nice weather.
Yeah. So exactly. So I mean, today happens to, well, I don't know. It might be raining today. Who knows? But I mean, I make sure that I move. And when
Hmm
I go through a flare, I mean, you talked about your massage therapist.
Yeah.
I have a stretch therapist that stretches me.
See, I want to do that too.
Girl, I'm gonna tell you, it was the best thing that someone told me, and I was like, "This is crap." I
Yeah.
am now with her 4 years.
Wow.
I see her twice a month.
hmm
If I miss that second one, I am screwed.
You feel like shit. Yeah.
That's one of the first things I tell my clients. I'm like, "I'm gonna tell you, you're going through a flare. You need to be doing this." I said, because if
Well, I mean,
you stop moving when you're in pain, they move you.
I,
Got and again out of pocket,
oh,
by the way, out of
yeah, of
pocket.
course. Well, yeah, like I told you, the ways to well thing. It cost me $600 out of pocket because I wanted a deep dive.
Mhm.
Because when you go get your labs done at the hospital through your insurance, they do like 4 or 5, and that's it.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
it's kind of a joke. You know what I mean? I got my
Sure.
biological age, which let's
Right.
face it, it says I'm 1 year older than I actually am. So that's good.
That's
So I
that
mean, but I'm still not mature. But no, anyways,
me either.
but they opened up one of those stretch places near me.
Mhm.
So I think I'm gonna go try it because I'm so terrible about stretching. I did martial arts when I was a kid, like like 14. So I'd
Mhm.
go 5 days a week. I was limber. I could do splits back then. The only thing I split's the back of my pants. So what is your approach to helping people with auto? Like what do you tell them? Do you tell them it's diet, exercise? How do you go about
So
doing it?
we just kind of have open conversations, and I like to see where they're at when they come to me, because
Mm-hmm.
we're all in different, like, listen, we're all different. Women especially, we all have our own opinions and, you know, on what works. So I truly meet them where they're at, and then I try to help them create a plan for them that works, right?
Right.
And of course, inevitably we find out, their home life is a mess. And I don't mean like a mess like it's, falling apart. You know, no boundaries. They don't know how to say no. So, there's a trend. I'm just gonna say there's a
Yeah.
trend. As mothers, and listen, I'm a mom, obviously, I'm a grandmother. I don't know how to say no, but today I choose not to say no with my grandchildren. Like, that's
Right.
just how I roll. But there's the constant running. They're involved in 10 different activities. School is very hard for these children. I mean, they're coming home with, 2, 3 hours worth. And I'm talking in elementary school. Like, I'm seeing this going, this is ridiculous. They're not allowed to be kids. So the parents are constantly running. And it's always a two, income family. Sometimes
Mhm.
someone's doing a second job. It's usually the father doing the side hustle. Like there's a lot of, and then of course these mothers feel like they're a single mother because they're the ones always home
Mhm.
doing all that part of the work. Which
Right.
being a parent today, I'm glad I'm not. I'm just going to throw that out there. So you see that they're not able to, and I hate this word, compartmentalize. Although we need to be able to say no in these sections. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
need to be able to say it, and there's no continuity. For lack of a better word, it's a shit show.
Yeah, well,
Everything's a shit show.
I don't think, I think compartmentalization, it's the same thing as multitasking, which is a
Right.
fucking myth. Parents can't be parents, and then they don't have enough time to do it right. Like, I hear some of my coworkers at the hospital, they're like, I gotta get off work, I gotta go home, I gotta cook, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta blah blah blah. I understand, but it's the life that we live now,
Right. It's a
and it's
constant
and it
rush.
yeah, and it's never gonna change. And I feel for people that they just feel trapped, and they
Well,
feel
there's a
like that
lot of
there's
that.
yeah, and there's no escape, and there's just they can't breathe,
Yeah. So a lot of times I think my great part of one of my better abilities in life is that I can hear and
Mhm,
and pull apart when they're talking to me. I don't attack them. I don't say, "Hey, you got to do this." I
mhm,
let them verbally vomit a lot of times, and then
yeah,
I go back and say, "Oh, you said this, what's going on with that?" How, and it's never in that session. It's my
mhm,
next session that I talk about it, because honestly, as women, I mean, you have a girlfriend, we like to just vomit the shit out and then try to figure it out.
mhm,
Like we got to vomit it out. So for me, I like to let them vomit, as I like to
mhm,
call it, and then we work backwards. Like, okay, so how
right,
can we change this? And because you're not changing it, how is it affecting you physically? So that's how I
mhm,
wrap it back around, because I'm telling you, when you're doing 10,000 things and you're not taking, like, look at, I knew I had to be on here. I have my medicine. I have 2 pills that I haven't taken yet. Because oh,
mhm,
I gotta get, I gotta-" So we have it. We, I'm not perfect at it by any means, but I
right, of
mean,
course,
there's there's this part that we constantly put us last. And I just think that's the nature of being a woman. I mean, it's just how it is. And
yeah,
I don't care for these women that say, "Hey, hear me roar," blah blah blah. There's still something that you're putting first before
mhm.
yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I I I get that, but there's a guy I work with, and he was at his wits' end. This is a long time ago, and he was not happy at home. He was the main breadwinner.
Mhm,
His wife worked, but she had some job where it wasn't. It was just like for extra money. And
mhm.
so he was just, he was stress eating. He was already diabetic on top of it. And I said, dude, if you don't, because he was getting, large. And I said, dude, if you don't stop to take care of yourself, somebody else is going to raise your kids. And
Yes.
I said, you have to sit here and you have to make some time for yourself a priority. Like every morning, I get up, me and my girlfriend have coffee. Then we go for a 2 mile walk together with with me and our dog. And then I come in and then I put a gym in my home. It's not nothing fancy.
It's enough.
And I work out for another 35 to 40 minutes after the walk because it gets all the crap out. It's a stress reliever for me. Am I in there trying to move the world? No, I'm trying to lift, but because I am almost 50, so it's time to think about, being being careful because of injury, especially with a bad back. But
Mhm,
and I get it that I'm privileged. Not I want to say privileged, but I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
mhm.
But so I couldn't imagine what it would be like to get up to wrangle a bunch of fucking kids
It's
and then
rough.
and then get them to school and all that. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's a lot. And I think for me what I see is I mean, I'm just my daughter's like, "Mom, I have to now get up 45 minutes earlier
hmm
to get one of them up." And
yeah,
honestly, that's parenthood. That's being a mom. And say you have like a single dad that's raising the kids, because I have no problem with that either. Because sometimes I believe that the woman shouldn't be watching or having custody of the kids. I mean, I'm
yeah,
probably going to call all kinds of crap with that. But
yeah.
anyways,
Who gives
I
a
don't
shit?
care. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to get them up and you have to go to work. I mean, I was a single mother for a long time, and I was blessed to have family help me out,
hmm
but there's still that side of it that's hard, and there's always that worry, like, oh, I can't take off, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's never a decompression, so your body demands something. So when it's demanding, it's taking away from you.
Yeah, I just recently saw a video on Instagram. There's this doctor. Her name is Elizabeth. I can't remember her last name, but she's in a fight with insurance companies right now.
I know exactly who you're talking about. She
Yeah,
was in a surgery, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
denied it.
So she just did a video. Her dad is not well, right? So she was up there where he is, wherever that is, taking care of him because she's a private practice physician and she owns a surgery center. She has to make money because she's not hospital. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and she's just, it's not fair that she can't take care of her father and still be able, she has to cut it short to come do, to work. So, I mean, it doesn't affect just one class. It affects all classes.
Absolutely, and I can go on. There's another topic I could go on about insurance companies and how
Don't
they.
even get me fucking started.
I mean,
It's, yeah.
I'm fighting. I am now fighting for $15,000. I
Hmm.
am going to say I am one of the lucky ones that last year I was in pain. I was in a flare. That I credit card. Do you know how many people don't have that luxury of putting it on a credit card and paying the
Hmm.
bare minimum to get.
Yeah.
So
To
here,
get
I'm not in
basic
a
care.
flare.
Yeah.
That I am taking a drug. I mean, I that's literally $8,000 a month.
That's insane.
Right. So my insurance pays something else. They didn't bill it correctly.
Uh-huh.
I didn't care because I was in pain. Talk about a motivator. I don't care. I need it. How many people are not in my position?
The
Most.
majority of, I would say. Yeah.
Most. That does not elude me by any means.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, hence why I do a lot of things where I help people because I know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
mean,
was in that position 30 years ago where I didn't have the insurance. Of course, I wasn't sick. However, I know how difficult it is.
yeah. To,
I mean, I get
to,
bent out of shape. I show out of
well,
shape
no,
about it.
oh no, of course, as it should be. We should be shaking our fists at this. But like, so I needed an MRI of my back, and actually it was a CT, with dye with contrast.
Mhm.
So I have an insurance through my hospital that I work for, and they're like, it's going to be $680. I'm like, huh? What? No, I'm not doing it. I had a friend at that time. She worked at a standalone imaging center. And I
Mhm.
said, hey, what do you guys charge for a CT of the thoracic spine with contrast? $208 out of pocket. And I'm like, she goes, well, we bill insurance 3 times as much. I'm like, well, fucking stop it. Because that's why it cost me almost $700 to have this done. And then granted, it would have been like, and here we can go down this rabbit hole too. It's so, okay. Say you have degenerative spine disease like I do, right?
Mhm.
They're like, oh, well, here's the number to a spine surgeon. And here,
Right.
so it all boils down, and we're going to give you steroids or whatever, all these pain management injections.
Mhm.
And then like, um, then they want you to do physical therapy before this, or it's like, so basically insurance is practicing medicine, and it needs to stop because they're not physicians, because they have yeah, because they have no recourse if they do something wrong. Like they don't have malpractice to the best of my knowledge.
Think so either. So for me, I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I had my husband retired in October,
Mhm.
and so he's older than I am, and he can get his little Medicare. I am
Mhm.
not there yet.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's like, "Oh, you should go on disability." I'm like, "I'm not going
No.
there because I'm just if I can still drive a car, I'm still good." Like I kind of have
Uh-huh.
that thought. Again, it's that Gen X thing, right? So
Right. Yeah.
if I tell you that what I pay for insurance so that I don't have to beg a fucking doctor to go
Mhm.
get a test
Yeah.
or go to a specialist is a small it's a mortgage payment every
Yeah. It's
month.
ridiculous. Yeah.
However, again, it does not elude me that I actually have the capabilities to do it.
Mhm.
I knew in the state of Pennsylvania that if I was to go on their insurance, I would have to go to their doctors.
Right.
Where I am located in Pennsylvania, yeah, I wouldn't bring my dog to this.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I would rather have gone to the vet.
Right.
So, I mean,
Probably would have been better off.
God, they're a little bit more functionally medicine anyway. But I mean, so here you
Right.
have. So for me, I look at it as again, I'm blessed. How many other people can't do that?
Yeah.
I
Well, I
want to
mean,
tell you that I mean, if I'm going to say that I'm going and I have to get my iron levels checked because something's again, my iron's down. I think it's my ferritin levels. I've done my research. I text my well, I get on there and which is something I make sure all my clients know how to use because if you're not talking to your doctor through your portal before you get to that appointment, you're not getting proper care
Yeah.
because they're always you never have that information in front of you when you walk in there because
Yeah.
white coat syndrome always happens to everybody.
Well, yeah.
So I just know that I'm going in and I'm gonna be like, I want these tests. And I know my insurance covers it.
They still give you shit.
Actually, I have really good doctors. Again, I'm not going here in Pennsylvania, but my doctors will listen to me. And if I tell them
Mhm.
this is what I'm feeling and what's going on, my specialist will do it for me for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm noticing is there's a generation of doctors that are coming up that are more open to listening to root cause therapy. And
So
it's a
those are ODs. They treat
DOs. Yeah.
DOs. I always call them
Yeah.
ODs. OD. I don't
It's
know
okay.
why, but
It
the
stands
DOs.
for
It's
Doctor of Osteopathy.
right, right. So my husband's in the health field. So I mean, I know all the terms, but I always mix
Yeah.
them up.
Yeah,
But
it happens.
they treat the whole body. They're not just treating the symptoms, and I mean, I forget how much extra school they do. I mean, you probably know better than I do.
It's actually I think it's the same amount of school, it's just in a different it's at a different capacity, I think.
Right.
I'm not 100% on it,
I'm
but
not 100%. I think my husband told me, like, they do, like, an extra 6 to 8 months extra just to whatever. And as far as
mhm,
I'm concerned, when I look for doctors now,
yeah. We
or
want
if I'm
DOs.
telling anybody to look, I'm like, "You wanna see that after it."
Yeah. Well, I'm to the point now to where I'm ready to start looking for a functional medicine doctor and not worry about regular MDs anymore. My current GP, she's not far from me, and she's one of those that's willing to like actually listen to the patient, and that's nice because me being a healthcare professional, look, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a PA, I'm not a anything like that, but I know stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like I know what works for me and what's not going to work for me, and
Mhm.
I know what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take a bunch of fucking pills
Right.
because they're all petroleum based junk that don't do anything except keep you sicker. Like I just recently found out that if you were on statins at any point in your life, you probably have developed diabetes because of it. And it's like, so what the fuck's the point? So you're going to swap out, you're going to give me 4 days extra for my life overall with statins.
So we'll talk about statins. I was on one for like, I think, whatever my it is with my
Hmm.
body with cholesterol, it's fine because my HDL
Yeah, and they do it. It's so confusing, anyways.
that's
Yeah,
it. Whatever does it, not that it cancels it, but it does something that it's working correctly. So I was on statins because that's the first thing they do to you, right?
of
And
course.
then now I go to, and I have no problem going to these specialists. I'm like, listen, I need to fix this. I already have like I have a genetic I was genetically born with stomach lining in my throat, so
Oof.
any
Yeah.
acid that I get, which is normal, it's pretty much eroding my esophagus away. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be on so they put me on statins and to help me because I was gaining weight and I'm on a which I have to take is the pantoprazole because it has to help the acid. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing I do is going to change that. And I found out that the statins are irritating. I'm like 3% or whatever the number is that it affects the liver.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm off of.
insanity. Yeah.
It's like he's like, wow. He says, like we got to take you off of it. And I'm like, okay. Like
Yeah. Done.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Done. I'm good." Like, so let's
Yeah.
figure out how do I get my weight under control? And I did. I got it all once I got off the steroids and
Mm-hmm.
but it happened.
Yeah.
But you have to and this is what I don't see. I don't see people advocating for themselves to the point like they'll argue that
Mm-hmm.
you cut my line. Like they'll argue to the 10th degree because you cut me in line, but they won't stand up for their health and
Because we have this mentality in America that the doctors are gods. You know what I mean? And they're infallible and they can never be wrong.
Mhm.
And trust me, I've met a few of them that are like that. They're like, the MD stands for major deity until they fuck up and they're like, I'm just human. Like,
Right.
and then they got to have the malpractice and all that shit.
So
You know what I mean?
my
Yeah.
father came to me as you said MD, what it stands for. My father used to say on the license plates, God rest his soul, Dad. I
Hmm.
can't believe this is coming to me. He used to
Hmm.
call it Maki doctor.
A what now?
Maki, like it was
Uh huh.
a Maki doctor. I was
I like
like,
it.
you said that. My dad
Uh-huh.
went right in my head.
Well,
I haven't
I
thought
used
of
to
that.
have,
I haven't
yeah,
thought of that in decades.
I used to. I used to work with one surgeon. He goes, "What MD stands for? My decision." And he was an orthopedic surgeon, and he's also a giant
Well, they're cut
twat.
there. Well, or they're cut happy. Same thing with
So, are you familiar with the Glasgow Coma Score?
no.
So, the Glasgow Coma Score, it's basically a chart that makes you a functioning adult. A functioning adult is a 10, right?
Mhm.
This person came to us. They were a GCS of 3. Okay, so they're a fucking toaster. You know what I mean? They're not. They're not. They're done. They're done. And he sneaks them in, and they have a it's a polytrauma, right? So it's like humeruses, femurs, tibias. Person that was in a car wreck or fucked.
Oh,
And so he's fixing the humerus, and anesthesia walks in and goes, "Yeah, when you're done with that, you're done." And he got all mad about it, and it's like, what the fuck? Why are you mad? It's like you said, they're cut happy. With surgeons or just doctors in general, it you don't need to be argumentative, but you should probably take some pride in your healthcare and try to work with them. But then again, like I said earlier, you're gonna have that doctor that has that "it's my decision" fucking thing, and it's like, no, you're here to help me,
right.
not to dictate how I do things.
I mean, I'll go. And last year, my mother-in-law, well, she's passed. She passed
Hmm.
away also. She fell. She had kidney issues, and she got dizzy. I mean, I know you know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. And
yeah,
the crap is now whirling in her head, so she's got whatever toxins are going. And she fell and she broke her hip. So we had to like make this
well,
decision,
yeah,
right? So like, do we let her lay in pain, or do we get her the? We didn't really know like what to do. And of course, we knew the time was coming, like her time was kind of coming to an end. We just didn't know exactly. So we ended up deciding to get her this surgery. Now, of course,
mhm,
anybody that knows, and I'm actually shocked how many people that don't know this, that after a certain age, having anesthesia coming out
no,
of it is
harder.
a lot harder. I mean, even at my age. Um, so we decided to do it. We were kind of worried what the outcome was going to be for coming out of the anesthesia. We had to do the
Uh-huh.
whole DNR. Remember, if something happens, she ended up making it through the surgery. Now, what pissed me off was they made her get up once so that they could discharge her. And she wasn't like she came out of the surgery really well. She was clear, although I look back now and think, oh, that's probably was her rally. And,
No,
just so unbelievable. And the doctors were amazing. I mean, they were like, listen, this is what
yeah,
let's figure this out. And we talked about it. I mean, it wasn't a quick decision.
yeah,
However, we didn't feel bad about doing it. She was able to die with not that kind of pain. She wasn't in the pain of a broken bone. And that was a hard decision of like,
yeah,
does she die being in pain because of that? Or does she die because it's her time? And it was her time. So she wasn't in and it's so scary when you're in, and of course I am taking notes like this is what I want when I get older. This is what I want. I don't want, like, if you're drinking every day because my mother is doing so and so and she's not listening, please throw me in the nursing home. It's okay.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then they're
I
not
mean,
great either, but I
no,
mean,
they're not, and
put
it's
me
well,
there.
yet again, that's become the more money you have, the more you can do, the better you're off. You know what I mean? Like my mom, she's almost 80, and she was talking about going into it. I'm like, I don't know if you can afford it. You know,
They're not
but
cheap.
so how long? You don't mind me asking? How long was it for your mother-in-law post-operative? How long did she last after that?
So she fell
Hmm.
on February 28th and she
Yeah.
passed on March 11th. So I mean, it's recent,
Wow.
like it's a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's still, yeah.
So it was, I mean, it was like last year, of course. I mean, she's
Hmm.
gone a
Yeah.
year and, she was our last, as I affectionately say, my last old person. Like
Hmm.
we took care of all four of them.
Hmm.
Um, and loved every minute of it. Like I don't have any regrets. She was the only one that we were like, she can't live with us. We can't have her. Like she was
Yeah.
a lot of work. Emotional.
Right.
She was a lot of emotional work. And I don't do that kind of, again,
Well,
Gen Xer.
you also have to know your limits too. Like you're really,
I
you
did.
don't want to disrupt the peace in your house.
Well, it wasn't even just that. It was, again, it goes back to I already have my own disease and how do I manage that and her?
Right.
I
Yeah.
come
Well, but
first.
again, like we said in the beginning, if you're having this problem, it's going to cause stress. Stress causes flare ups, and then it's just a vicious cycle
Right.
after that.
So not only do I preach it, I do follow it. I mean, I do follow it. Again, not perfectly because we are so imperfect as a human being, but I mean, we both knew like she was not material to live with us.
Yeah,
And again, it was a hard decision. I
it
mean,
always is.
but we did what we could at that time and it was still taking care of her.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I don't feel sad that she's gone. I don't feel sad at the care we gave her. I just wish I knew if she had been in my home and she was in hospice, she would not have been in the pain that she was because they these facilities have to follow a protocol. You know,
right,
when you're home, the hospice doctor says, "Well, if you think they're in pain, then you know you can help that," and that's all they say to you. And
right.
read between the lines. I did to all of them. Like I was the one administering all of the drugs, and
Really?
I did all of it. Yeah, all
Wow.
four of them. And except I really couldn't take care of her, and that's the only regret I have, is that I couldn't bring her home to do the right thing, but she was so out of control that she was in the right place. Hindsight, of course, but,
Of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't make you feel any less guilty, because but it's also listen, my mom knows I love her dearly, right? But she also knows that if because there's only so much you can do because you're like yes, I'm a healthcare professional. I was a certified nurse's aide before I became a surgical tech, but there's
Right.
only so much one person can do. And there's this stigma of wanting to put your parents in a place so they can get care, you know.
Mhm.
But some of the care that they get in these
Mm.
facilities is absolutely atrocious. They'd be better
Right,
off living on the street in some of these places, you
so
know?
we just had, so there's 2 facilities by us and well, there's 3.
Mhm.
One,
Yeah.
forget about it. Then there was another one. It's because I've worked in nursing facilities, and my husband, of course, he's a respiratory therapist, so he has done his stint in them also.
Yeah.
If you have a
Mhm.
stench before you walk in through that door, you gotta turn around and go. So yeah, I mean, we did our due diligence. We checked it all out. We had our set of questions, but how many people don't know those questions?
Yeah. Well, that's why we're doing this kinda show is so people can actually think about it,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, there's so many questions. Number 1, you wanna just pop in without an appointment.
Yeah, oh, and that's a huge red flag if you put your loved one in a nursing home and they accept, "We gotta make an appointment." The fuck I do. That means they're hiding something and they need advance notice to fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
or to hide it. Yeah.
we did all pop-ins, like, "Hey, we saw this was here, we're just coming in, blah, 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 blah," and the place we ended up having her was the place that was the best for her
Mhm. Yeah.
because the everybody that worked there, they were friends, they were family, they loved working there.
Mhm.
So, when you see the people working there that love their job,
Yeah.
none of these places don't. And listen, they were still understaffed, they were still,
Of course.
but they made it work. And honestly, and then if and these workers, and if I'm gonna stress this because 'cause I've been there. If you do not give these workers that are working there compassion and grace, your loved one's not gonna get the care you want.
No, they're not because it's like
If you're a pain in the ass, guess what? They're gonna back away from taking care of that patient.
yeah. No, well, you have to let them do their job. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, because you have all you're talking about somebody that's, like, trying to micromanage them in their loved one's care, 100%. It's like yeah, my favorite line is, "Well, my daughter's a nurse." I'm like, "Well, I don't give a shit." You
No.
know? Is she here? So, I mean, like, I had years ago, we had a patient, and she was in the ER, she's about to come to surgery, and the mom's like, "I just know it's her gallbladder," and the doctor's like, "Yeah? Well, it's her appendix. Let us do our job."
Right.
It's a fine line. She was trying to be part of her daughter's care,
Mhm.
but this is where I hate the WebMD thing. It's just an AI blanket answer. It's not a
Mhm.
legit thing because it's like cancer, right? As much as I hate to bring up the cancer thing. Fucking everyone's like, how come there's not a cure for cancer? It's like because there's different types.
Mhm.
Colon cancer is not the same as lung cancer. It's different. I mean, this. I'm sure somebody will comment, but if they do, great, because I don't know. But I'm not an oncologist. But it's like lung cancer is different cellular structure than colon cancer. And then speaking of colon cancer, there's been this is not to scare anybody, but it might. If it does, I'm sorry. But there was a recent I heard of a study. I haven't fully read it yet. That with gallbladder people that have had their gallbladders removed, there's an uptick in right-sided colon cancer now
Mhm. I saw
because
it.
of all because of all the bile going into the colon. I'm like, so you can't win.
Right. I mean, I had to have mine out because it was gonna either burst or,
Yeah.
I was
So
te
you
I mean,
probably yeah,
I had to.
you probably had cholecystitis, which is inflammation of the gallbladder, probably had Stones,
I had a
as
ton of
most
it.
people do.
I
Yeah.
had a ton of them,
And
yeah.
I can't tell
I
you, like,
I
there was
think I'm, like, one of, like, 15 in my family that have had it out.
well, there was one weekend I was working recently where we took out 8 gallbladders,
And again, you
and
know
it's
what that
like,
goes down to? Our
meh.
food,
Of
what we
course.
eat.
It's also but it also means that people I don't know where this I hate to call it laziness. It's I think it's more of a form of depression where people they don't wanna move because I guess it's either they're afraid of change or they're afraid of putting in the work or they're afraid of failure or whatever.
I think it's all of it, to
But
be honest with you.
it
I think it all
probably
feeds
is. I
each
mean,
other.
well, and here's the thing, is like if you fall, you get up and then you fall again until you keep going. The only other alternative is to be sick and miserable, you know? So it doesn't matter how many times you fall, get up and dust yourself off.
Right, well, that's our generation. That's how we were growing up. You get up, you do again. But honestly, and there's so I mean, I think there's something to it, and then I think there's something that becomes kinda cocky about it, like, teach them, like, "Yes, we can get up and we can wipe the dust off gently as we're loving ourselves that we're gonna
Of
trust
course.
again," opposed to, "I gotta do it. This is how I grew up." I'm like, that's no now you have an excuse for why you're such an asshole.
Right. Exactly. But my thing is, you know, what I want for everybody is to be healthy and happy, you know? But people they have to want it themselves. You can't
Well,
put a
that's the
gun up to
other.
somebody's head. You're going to lose weight. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So,
I mean, how many people do we know, that have addiction, right?
yeah. And it's not just,
That's
you know,
that's just a symptom of something else, some other trauma, because
mhm,
that's how they're masking or making themselves feel better.
mhm.
Again, we can bring them to every rehab to get dried out or clean or whatever word we're using today. It only works if they want to work, if they want
Well,
to get better.
it's that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, you know?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. I mean, I'm in a prime example. Listen, I was in a depression for decades because I chose not to look at my past,
mhm,
what happened to me when I was younger. I was at what? I came from a family that was dysfunctional because they were dysfunctional because their family was dysfunctional, right? So now
yeah,
you have that. I was raped.
mhm,
I became a drinker. I didn't become a full-blown alcoholic, but then the depression happened. I had a marriage. My first relationship with my daughter's father was not great. So here I'm like
right,
living this cycle.
right,
I had no choice but to be that. And of course, everybody
yeah,
says, like, oh, you have a choice. Not when you can't figure out how to get out of it.
yeah,
You know,
100%. And
if you're stuck in it, you have to keep hitting a bottom and hitting a
yeah,
bottom and hitting a bottom, which I believe because I hit all those bottoms,
yeah,
that when I got this diagnosis, I was able to move forward opposed to
mhm,
living in, "Oh my god, I've got this disease, my life is over." Listen, I'm not saying I didn't go there,
right,
but I didn't stay there. You know,
yeah,
I didn't perpetuate that stupid circle that I was in. I broke my own cycle of going, and in order to do that, you have to feel the pain, and no
you do.
one wants to feel the pain.
Yeah, everybody's got trauma, but we'll use my weight for an example. At my heaviest, I was almost 330 pounds. And I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'4". Yeah, I wore it well, but I was still hurting and miserable and and all that. So one day I had gotten some labs done and I was looking at it and the doc's like, "Hey, friend, we got some shit to talk about." And I was eating a giant sub from Publix and I was like,
Which are good
"Well,
when you're
yeah, they
back in the
are."
day.
Yeah. And I was like, shit. So I finished that. The next day, I was like, you know what? It's time to make a change. So I got up early, went to the gym, spent an hour on the treadmill, started eating better, eating healthy. So we're talking about diagnoses and stuff. You get that that um moment of self pity is what I call it because you're wallowing in it, and it's like you think this is going to be your life, and you think, fuck it, why did my parents decide to have me because of their shitty genetics or whatever?
Whatever it is.
But then you have to think it through and then start figuring out a way to get out of that muck and just get out of that depression because the only way is up. You're only going to be what you, I hate to say it this way, but you're only going to be what you are right now if you never change. And it's going to be this if you feel like shit, you gotta do something to change it. There's none of this idea of like healthy at any weight bullshit. They've been peddling for a while now. No, it's not. If you're 600 pounds, it's bad for your joints, bad for your heart. I can tell you that from your heart to your feet, that's why a lot of people have cold feet a lot, is because it is incredibly hard for your blood to pump from your heart to your feet, right? And that
Hmm.
people don't realize how hard it is for that to happen. It's a long way. And but this is where education comes involved, and all that, and people don't want to take the time to learn because they have 11,000 other things they have to worry about.
Absolutely, because again, they are not advocating for themselves, you know,
Yeah,
and they think,
yeah.
well, I'm advocating for my child, I'm advocating for my mother, I'm advocate like, but
But you have to
advocating for
advocate for yourself too, like you said earlier.
first and foremost, we should be
Yeah.
advocating for ourselves,
Well, it's like
like
I referred to my coworker, and when I told him, I was like, "Dude, if you don't start taking care of yourself, someone else is going to raise your children."
absolutely.
And granted, I mean, they I don't know if they made the changes or not. It's not really my business, but
No.
and then I remember the first like real weight loss shortcut. We'll go to that real quick. Was gastric bypass. I remember doing those. I remember back in the early 2000s, we were doing those.
Huge.
Yeah, they were huge. And it was like, and then of course they were all out of pocket. So every general surgeon was wanting to jump on that bandwagon so they could make 10 grand a pop.
Mhm.
The best way to handle morbid obesity is exercise and diet. This idea of taking a shot, getting a surgery, or any of that is comfort is where dreams go to die. You know what I mean? Like the moment that people are comfortable, good fucking luck, getting them to do anything. So getting out of your comfort zone. That's why I go for a 2 mile walk in the morning, and then in the evening I do another mile and a half. Not that
Mhm.
I'm better than anybody, but because I know that I'm getting older. I'm almost 50. I said it 1,000 times, but it's if I don't keep moving now, I'm not going to be able to move when I'm 80 if I live
Lotion,
that long.
motion is lotion.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to
Motion
put
is
it.
motion is lotion, and if you're not doing it, you're contributing to your problems. You're contributing to it, and unfortunately, that is what it is. And I'm not a big fan of that expression. It is what it is. I know that if I don't take care of myself,
Hmm. No one's going to. Yeah,
no one, my husband loves me, my daughter loves me, my granddaughters love me. It's not their job.
no. And that's and me being childless, it's like, who's going to take care of you when you get older? I'm like, if you had children to be a couple of hospice nurses, you went about it the wrong way too.
Right.
I mean, who
I mean,
knows?
I chose it by choice. I mean, that,
Yeah,
and I say that lovingly. I did it by choice.
yeah,
There's not a lot of me people out there. I'm just
no,
gonna say that
right.
because it was not easy, and if you don't have that, and I don't want to say tough skin or able to separate the two. I mean, I don't know why I was capable to do it. I was able
Hmm.
to do it. I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
A lot of people can't do that.
Right. Well,
You know.
there's a lot of people that can't even stand the sight of blood.
So my best story is, so my husband and I were a little weird, right? So we both like
Hmm.
this crazy stuff. My mother falls right a year before she actually passes. It's
Hmm.
actually 11 months because I was like, oh, this is the beginning of the end. I know, like I know the cycle. Like you just
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. So she falls. She just cuts her eye. Like she's lucky. Like how she fell. She's lucky she didn't split the eye open. But and it's during COVID, so here
Of
we
course.
are. You got to go on this, or I should say, they're still wearing the masks. We'll just put it to
Yeah.
you that way. I don't think it was COVID. It was like 2022, so it was the summer of 2022.
Hmm.
Um, this guy, we're in the hospital. We're down in Jersey because again, I'm like, yes, we're going down there, and we watched this guy like sew her up.
Hmm.
That we're
Yeah.
like in it, like wow. This guy was like, "I can't believe you guys are in it." I'm like, "I just think it's, like, amazing, like,
Yeah.
that you guys are capable of doing that," and her scar was minimal. Like, I was
Yeah.
I'm
Listen, if
like,
you can get someone who's like a plastic surgeon, and I mean, that's their job. Like, I mean, you can like,
"This was just a regular guy, a nurse,
well,
whatever,
it's
nurse
probably
tech
a
or
yeah
whatever."
a PA or a nurse practitioner, and it's like, so if you get someone that has a good set of hands, man, they can do anything and make it look good.
It was amazing,
So
amazing. I
yeah.
could not we were like, "Scar? No scar." But I mean, it again, I think I'm not normal because I think all that's cool,
No, I
you
mean,
know?
it's just that you have that, um, what's the word? You're medical minded, because
Mhm.
it intrigues you. When I was a home health aide, I would sit down. There was a show on TLC, and when it was a learning channel and not My 600-Pound Life with Midgets, they had two shows that I really enjoyed. One was called The Operation, which is where they would go through,
Yes.
people having surgery, and it would be not blurred. And the other one was Trauma Life in the ER, where they would see these
Yes.
people come
I
in,
remember
and
both
they
of
would
them.
just, yeah, like there was one guy, he was an elderly man. He fell in a bathtub, fell in the shower, and when he fell, I guess his hand hit the ceramic soap dish that we used to have. Remember those?
Mhm.
And he fell and he twisted and it went across his back. The entirety of his
Mm.
back made a huge, like, I mean, deep
Gash.
laceration. They were able to sew him up and it looked good as new. I mean, it still sucked for the guy, but but that's when you have someone that takes pride in their work, right? So,
Well, and actually he was teaching someone, and
yeah.
and and she was doing just as good a job because he was like, "Mace is where you wanna grab it." And of course,
Hmm.
I'm probably the best patient for anybody that comes in, "Well, we have a student here." I'm like, "Go ahead, go ahead." And
Yeah.
my joke is they a student? Take my blood because it's gonna be hard." Like,
Yeah.
I'm already giving the pressure. "Go ahead. If you're in there,
Yeah.
just stick
Exactly.
around." But I mean, again, I mean, we all joke about this because, we've all experienced it, but for someone that it's happening right in that moment and they don't get it because they don't know the questions and, not that they don't want to be informed. It's just something that's not talked about enough.
No, it's not. And I think that's done by design.
We're talking about advocacy. Basically is
Hmm.
what we talked about. Nobody's really
No,
advocating for themselves. And it
no,
doesn't
they're
really
not.
just stop with me having or someone having an autoimmune disease. It's
Hmm.
cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes. It's everything that we're just not taught to ask the questions, you
Actually,
know?
but you're talking about advocacy. Let me give you a little story about my girlfriend. Oh, for a while, she had an indentation on her left breast. And in the medical field, I don't know how to put it delicately, but there's no real way. So when you have an indentation like that, it's cancer till it's not, right? So
Absolutely.
she was talking to a midwife or whatever, and they go, "Oh, let's just wait and see." And it's like, no, this needs to be done now. So, come to find out, yes, it was cancer. And we got it taken care of, and she's healthy now. But you have to stand up and be like, listen, this needs to be done. If you don't do it, I'm going to find somebody else that fucking will.
Well,
That's
that's
the
it.
way it should be.
My biggest thing is if you're gonna go get your car fixed and they're telling you there's something that, "Oh, I'm not hearing the clicking noise that I've been hearing for 3 weeks now," and they're
Hmm.
not hearing it, and I'm like, "Well, you're not hearing it, I'm going somewhere else because I know I'm hearing it." You're spending, you know, I guess today we spend like $40,000 on a car, right? So
Hmm.
we're going to make sure we maintain that so we can have it for
Right.
10 years.
At least if you're lucky, it lasts that long. Yeah.
Right. So, but you want it to last long, right? So you'll
Hmm.
go to any mechanic to make
Any
sure it's
links to do it.
fixed and go to
Right.
great lengths to do it. But
Yeah.
you're not going for your fucking health.
Yeah.
I mean, it pisses me off.
As it should. I mean, and the fact that, and I don't know why that is. Like, we can sit here and go around and around about it, but, so,
I also think
um,
people don't want
yeah,
to know the unknown.
the anticipation of death is worse than death itself. You know what I
Right.
mean? So they have this idea of, well, if I don't know, I don't have to worry about it. Well, that's not how that shit works.
So you don't have to
Like,
worry. And honestly, and to me, I need to know. I need to know
yeah,
it
yeah. At
all.
least you can, you know how to act accordingly. So I have three questions that I ask people that come on my show.
Okay.
The first one is, what makes you who you are? Give me two things that kind of make you who you are.
So I think I'm a very good listener
Hmm.
and I can find a joke. I can find something funny in something that's absolutely horrible.
Of course.
So I am easily soothing
Hmm.
and I give it people that grace of like, oh, well, I'm a good nurturer. So I think that's who I am. I'm a good nurturer for
Hmm.
sure. Anybody that knows me knows that I love being a grandmother.
Good. Yeah. So the next one is, so you're about to move on to the next life. What do you want to be remembered for?
So this is a great question, which is funny because we've been talking about it a lot. I
Hmm.
want to leave this legacy behind
Right.
that no matter what age you are, you can start fresh. Whether you want a new position in life, whether you want to start a business, whether you want to leave a bad relationship, you can start over. And for me, that is legacy by example.
Hmm.
And I am the example of I've started so many times over
Yeah.
And getting this disease, getting this autoimmune disease gave me a purpose to leave a legacy behind of me living life on my terms.
Yeah. And then the third question is, what makes you happy?
Again, I'm going to tell you love. I love to laugh. I love to be outside living. I great example. I took my granddaughter to get I'm very competitive, so
You'd all say,
they're probably gonna talk about that a little bit. "Remember grandma did this?" We went to a batting cage. I bought my granddaughter needed a new bat, new
"Mhm,
cleat, and I played softball as a kid. I'm gonna throw this out there. I am 58 years old. I don't know the last time I swung a bat,
right.
okay? And this is probably a memory they're gonna talk about because I got in that batting cage and I connected with that ball, and that is probably if anybody can say anything big about me is that I connected just like I connected with a bat, just how
Mhm,
I've always connecting. I
yeah,
love life because it is for
right.
the living
Mhm,
and we can stay in the shit. Why do we want to? That's the question we need to
yeah,
ask ourselves. Why do we want to stay in that shit? Because life is
right.
happening whether we're in it or not.
Exactly. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you?
So most people find me on Instagram and it's just my name, Annmarie Entner. I go on there. I have a Facebook group. If you want to get on my email, I would love that because I love to interact with people. Just my webpage, which is lifecoachingforchange.com, because life changes whether we want to or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody.